Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes. Appreciate you guys joining a bit early here. Before we move forward, I'm going to just start a quick sequence video to give you guys an overview if you hadn't seen it before, and then we'll jump right into the presentation for everyone, okay? So here's the quick little overview.
We are Sequence. We are French, but international. Together carrying a common goal. Collectively, we can be proud of what we have achieved and of the values that we continue to share. We are Sequence. Sequence is industry, chemistry, and discoveries. Sequence is a global leader, serving more than 1,000 customers. We devote our energy to our customers. Sequence gathered 3,200 people in 10 countries. Sequence is people, science, pharmaceuticals, challenges, and innovation. Sequence is cosmetics and biology. Sequence is sharing with the generations to come and caring with CSR commitment for the planet. Sequence is our science for your future.
Great. So happy Tuesday, everyone. Before we get moving, I see a lot of different countries online, and really appreciate you being here with us. So the webinar will be recorded, and if you want to receive the replay, you can just send us a quick note, and we will send you a link for that. There is a Q&A button. You can add any questions in that Q&A or in the chat while we're going forward, and we're happy to answer them either at that point or towards the end of the presentation. Also, right at the end, there'll be a quick survey in the chat, and if you could just take 2 minutes to fill that out, it helps us get better at these. So we're really excited for you guys to take a few minutes with us today, and we appreciate that time. I'm Victor Zub. I'm the head of the personal care business here at Sequence, and I do know quite a few of you on the call, but hopefully in the near future we can see each other maybe in Amsterdam and in cosmetics. I'm joined by Hendrik Bessem and Hector Hernandez, who will introduce themselves a little bit further on into the presentation. So without further ado, we'll go into a little bit of an overview here. So what we're talking about today is high performance, low impact ingredients that are the future of the cosmetic industry. So we're looking at the potential of functional ingredients by their efficacy, sustainability, and reduced carbon footprint. Our goal as a team is to deliver ingredients that help replace synthetic materials on the market and give you great talking points with your customers and brands about how to increase the naturality of their formulations. So that's really why we're here today and what we want to try and deliver with these ingredients. So before we go into that, to keep everybody on their toes, a quick little icebreaker about what impact do bio-based and natural ingredients have on consumer products and brands. So if you can just put in a couple keywords or ideas in there, that'd be a big help. All right, so starting to see a few. So innovation or unique properties of the product can be gentler, increased naturality, looking at protecting the environment, using drop-in replacements, being more eco-friendly. So all of these are great points that are the reason why the industry is moving more towards bio-based or natural ingredients for sure. So we're going to touch on quite a few of these and give you and your teams the ammunition you need in order to sell them into your teams or your customers, depending on who we're talking to. So where we go from here is our approach and ecosystem for building these bio-based multifunctional ingredients. So one of our key focal points within the Sequence group is a strong CSR policy, and we focus on several different pillars. But what we're talking about today that has the biggest impact on these ingredients is lower CO2 emissions, more sustainable products in the portfolio, and obviously doing it safely and making sure all of our team goes home safe every day after making the products that you use and sell into the market. So we do that with a big focus again, and we track that with science-based targets across the different platforms. We have 3 main sites implicated in the personal care BU, 1 in France and 2 in the UK. All are certified EcoVadis Platinum, which means we're looking and we're audited on the environmental impacts, on how we look after our team, our ethical and sustainable procurement and development of new raw materials. So all of these are audited and every year, and we strive to increase that score with EcoVadis every year. So again, we're really proud of that certification across the platform, and it's something we continue to focus on. We're also proud of the manufacturing capabilities we have, and I would invite anyone on the call to ask us for a visit. We will host you, your customers, or your brand team to introduce the site, have a tech day, talk about the science that we have and enable on these platforms. And we are a robust manufacturer of multifunctionals today, and we're taking that to the next step in converting them to bio-based materials. So really exciting. The other large investment that we've made recently is in an automatic packaging and filling line. This allows us to deliver what you need in the right pack size around the world. So we're really excited about the capabilities we have there and helping you build your business. So from there, we go into a quick second icebreaker before we start talking about the products, and this one's pretty easy. It's it's what are the main benefits of choosing a bio-based ingredient for a formula? So you can pick one or multiple choice, and there's really no wrong answer. But which one do you feel is the big, which one or two are the biggest impact when you're developing this? All right, so we definitely see an increased naturality in the final formulation, a lower carbon footprint, drop-in replacement so that it's easier for a brand or a brand manager to say, yeah, let's do that. We don't have to reformulate the entire chassis. Obviously, cost and use is a big consideration, and we're going to talk about that later in the presentation. Obviously, that is an area we're all concerned with, and we know we're positioned to address it properly. Great. So thanks for all of that feedback. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Hector. So Hector's joining us from the lovely state of New Jersey in the US. And thanks, Hector. I'll let you take it from there.
Thank you, Victor. Great job setting the stage for me. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Hector Hernandez. I've been in the beauty and personal care space for over 25 years now. Super excited to be here today with Sequence. My background has been completely on the supplier side, working for some of the industry's largest suppliers, but proud and excited to be here with Sequence today, talking to you about the Advanced Protect Green Dials. Before I jump into it, a few critical points for me to share some of my expertise in the supply side. Victor made some great points. Corporate social responsibility. Important for you to feel confident and proud of the work that you're doing, knowing it's having a positive impact on the environment. As a dad of two young girls, it's super critical for me to know that I'm leaving them a world that's better off today than I entered it. He mentioned manufacturing powerhouse. Powerhouse, it's a strong word, but what does that mean? I mean, we're talking about industry-leading capacities, manufacturing site redundancies, repack to small pack lines. And as a consumer finished goods producer or a distributor selling into that market, those are all super powerful things. It gives you supply chain securitization and reliability. It gives you agility to react to the market and consumer erratic changes. And then he also mentioned, or didn't mention, but showed a really beautiful column there. I think I have it, may have it in the next slide. But 25 years in the industry, and that slide that picture in the right-hand side there looks like 3 decks. One of the largest, if not the largest, distillation column I have ever seen in my career with all the manufacturing sites I visited. And what's the significance? Quality. So corporate social responsibility, supply chain securitization, reliability, and quality. With that distillation column, we can make 99% pure molecules, which is really unmatched in the industry. So looking at the green range, right? We're leveraging our heritage and continuous commitment to creating high quality, environmentally friendly green chemistries. Sequence developed a unique production process which allows for the production of a minimum 99% pure, bio-based, and colorless multifunctional dials, which also create a reduction in carbon footprint and create more sustainable products. Next slide. With that, I'll jump into the dials. So part of the complexity of creating these materials is that you really have to create new bio-based starting raw materials. And Sequence has been able to do that. We have a patented and proven technology, an IP protected process to make 100% natural and pure dials that are bio-based. These dials are direct drop-in replacements for synthetic counterparts and available in industrial quantities this year. Next slide. Comparing Sequence to the green novel technology to the current synthetic technologies, this is the process currently used to make the synthetic caprylyl glycol. What you'll see is it starts with the oligomerization and fractionation of ethylene to create this high purity olefin. That high purity olefin is then undergoes dehydroxylation to create a high purity 1,2 diol. That reaction is very specific, very pure, and it's something that we've been able to replicate with our process using the green process. You'll see in this next animation here, the capturing of our green process. Slightly different in the beginning. We start with an esterification to create the 99% high purity ester. Then that ester is converted into the high purity olefin, as in above. The dehydroxylation occurs, and we have a really high purity 1,2 diol, alkane diol. When you look at the competitive processes on the market, you find a much less specific process in terms of the chemistry. There's a dehydration as opposed to an esterification, which yields a much less pure olefin. You have about 95% purity compared to the Sequence process, which is 99% purity. You also have an inclusion of an isomer at about a little over 2%. This then goes dehydroxylation, and you get the 1,2 alkane diol at a purity of about 95%. And you also get the 2,3 diol isomer at a little over 2%. So the process that the competition is not as specific, not as pure as the sequence process, which is really a direct replacement for the current synthetic route that's on the market. Next slide. This is further proof here. We're looking here at Advanced Protect 8 Green versus a competitor-based C8. This is a GC-MS chromatogram, and you can see on the right-hand side there clearly that the competitor bio-based C8 has some peaks that are not evident in our chromatogram, leading to believe that our material is much more pure, in line with what you see with the synthetic as a drop-in replacement. Next slide. Here, to date, through life cycle assessment, we are identifying about a 20% reduction in carbon footprint. This is a preliminary evaluation. It's still undergoing, but we have a significant decrease in the carbon footprint here using the green version versus the synthetic 8 version. Next slide. When we look at how the Advanced Protect 8 Green efficacy compares with the bio-based version and the synthetic version, you see parity in performance across the spectrum, across the organisms. It's really a one-for-one replacement with the same performance, bio-based versus the synthetic. Complete protection against a range of microorganisms, similar efficacy to the synthetic counterpart. Next slide. Looking at the competitor C8 version, you also see, again, similar efficacy to the synthetic counterparts, complete protection against a range of microorganisms. So looking at the Advanced Protect 8 Green overall, it's a 100% bio-based carbon content that was obtained through a third-party Beta Analytics testing laboratory, 100% bio-based carbon content. This product is good, has a good moisturizing abilities. It's a true multifunctional. It improves the sensorial performance of your formulations. It can impact viscosity. It's a preservative booster, enhances the intracellular microbial penetration. It has that surfactant-like composition with your hydrophilic head and hydrophobic tail that's able to help with that efficacy in microorganisms, and works synergistically together with other preservatives to give you that kill rate that you need to protect your products. It's China approved. Again, EcoVadis Platinum, the site that's manufactured at, and EcoCert Cosmos approved. Next slide. That's it for the Advanced Protect 8 Green, but I leave you with my colleague here that I'd love to introduce to you, Hendrik Bessem, expert in the industry, and I'll let Hendrik introduce himself. Hendrik?
Yes, thanks, Hector. It's the first time that you are so kind to me, but I will take it for today. So my name is Hendrik Bessem. I'm 27 years already in the chemical area. From the first day onwards, I was already dealing with preservatives, boosters, multifunctionals in general. And the last 2 years, I'm part of the Sequence family and working as the global product managers for preservatives in the BU personal care. I hope you are not going to compare Hector and myself with the two guys from the Muppet Show on the balcony. But if you do, I'm the right one, the younger one. And yeah, we'll see. So another product that we would like to introduce to you is our Advanced Protect 2 AAG Green, and AAG stands for ethylhexylglycerin. So also here, it's something that we already do for many years at our site in the UK. We produce ethylhexylglycerin making use of a synthetic process. So we take two ingredients, starting materials, then alcohol and EPI, and we create an intermediate, and this intermediate already has a very high purity. And from this intermediate, we produce the ethylhexylglycerin with, again, the same purity, and what is also very important, with the same very low impurity profile. If we compare, for example, the synthetic process with our natural process, Again, we face the same challenges as what already was indicated by Hector for the Advanced Protect 8 green. It is important, of course, to find out if you have raw materials to start from. If not, then of course it's case of producing, developing raw materials, bio-based raw materials that really will lead to the same final product, in this case, ethylhexylglycerine, but from a bio-based source. And this is exactly what we did. So we started from a natural alcohol, we added a natural reagent, and we created a natural intermediate, again, with a very high purity. And this natural intermediate we transferred into a natural ethylhexylglycerine with the same purity or even higher. And of course, also again, with the same impurity profile. So in case you are going to compare the final products between the two processes, it's the same active ingredient, it's the same purity, it's the same impurity profile that we can show. So it is a drop-in replacement in case you want to move from a synthetic source material to a natural base material. If we are going to look more in the direction of the impurity, then this is a GC chromatograph that we want to show. First of all, it shows how pure the molecule is that we put into the market, because that's sometimes a question that we receive from end customers. Well, I have a little bit of fear that making use of natural ingredients, this material will have more impurities. Based on what we can do at our site in the UK, this is definitely not true, because comparing the impurity profile from the natural bio-based material with our synthetic, it's the same or sometimes even better than what people sometimes expect from it. On the other hand, we also made a comparison with a competitor ethylhexylglycerine, also recently launched into the market. And we have less peaks, and less peaks means a lower impurity profile, what we can show for our Advanced Protect 2 AAG green, for example. What we can tell about ethylhexylglycerine, it's 100% bio-based. Again, it's the same test method that we use to prove that it is 100% natural. Again, here, C14 analysis is the only way to prove that you have 100% naturality. We also send the sample to the external lab in this case. And this is something that we do from the raw materials to the intermediates to the finished product. We take care that we assure that you as the end customer will receive a product that is 100% bio-based and nothing else. If we talk about ethylhexylglycerine, this is an active ingredient that was already introduced to the market in around 1992. So I'm sure that a lot of you are already familiar with ethylhexylglycerine. So it's a skincare emollient. It's also a very well-known preservative booster. It's a multifunctional because it has different activities. It also can have an improvement of the skin feeling if you add it into your final formulation. And this is sometimes the reason why customers make use of it when they produce, for example, sun care formulations. On the other hand, ethylhexylglycerine is also one of the well-known ingredients acting against odor-causing bacteria. And if we talk about odor-causing bacteria, we talk specifically about deodorants. So if you go into Mintel and you search for deodorants and ethylhexylglycerine, I'm sure you will receive a lot of hits. And on the other hand, as what I mentioned already before, ethylhexylglycerine is also used as a booster for many traditional preservatives, but also other multifunctionals. So if you want to reduce the concentration, for example, of ingredients like phenoxyethanol, benzyl alcohol, you can add a little bit of ethylhexylglycerine. It will increase the efficacy against microbes. And on the other hand, it also will reduce the concentration of your ingredients. So that's, of course, also a very positive feature at the end. If we talk about ethylhexylglycerine, if we take, for example, the synthetic as the first example, then at the moment, Sequence is offering two versions into the market. First of all, it's the ethylhexylglycerine as such, and also the ethylhexylglycerine stabilized with synthetic tocopherol. What we are going to do for our bio-based material is offering exactly the same two versions, but from a natural perspective. So the first one is Advanced Protect 2AG green. It's the pure molecule ethylhexylglycerine. And on the other hand, we also introduced to the market Advanced Protect 2AG plus green. And this is the natural ethylhexylglycerine, but stabilized with natural tocopherol. The reason why we have two options is also to give you the possibility to make use of the material that you use today, but as a synthetic one, and to make use of a drop-in alternative so that you don't have to do anything else than changing synthetic to the natural version. So if we have a look at our Advanced Protect green range in general, then we can show that for the time being, we have different products. First of all, the ethylhexylglycerine with the natural tocopherol. We also have, but we didn't discuss today, the natural pentylene glycol. Same story here, very pure, very low impurity profile, produced by ourselves in the UK. And this is something that we have already available right now. And of course, what was already discussed by Hector, the caprylyl glycol bio-based. So all these products are single molecules. So what we are also going to do is we are going to make use of different combinations, making use of the natural ingredients and create a system that is perhaps able to preserve, between brackets, your final formulation. But this is something that we are working on today, and within the next coming months, I'm sure that we are able to present to you also natural blends based on different ingredients that are mentioned here on this list, for example. So, and in a nutshell, and what we talked about in this presentation is what we offer today. What we want to offer to you is, of course, the extension of our personal care range. We want to do that with offering you also green diols and ethylhexylglycerine. So they are fully 100% bio-based, what we also can prove with our C14 analysis. Most of the molecules are Cosmos compliant and or ISO 16128. We have a very high quality. We have control impurity profiles for the different materials. And on the other hand, we can state that, yes, the green range can act as a drop-in equivalent to the synthetic ones that you already make use of. And of course, if you consider the green diols or the ethylhexylglycerine as one of your ingredients for your final formulation, they can act in different ways. Therefore, they are so-called multifunctionals. They can act as a preservative booster to reduce the amount of preservative, but to create a kind of synergistic effect that causes a very increase of efficacy against different germs. It can also have a kind of moisturizing effect in your final formulation or emollient effect. And it also can act as a kind of solvent. So different activities that you can receive by adding one of these products into your final formulation. And really, if we talk about preservative activity, it's definitely something that we also want to work with you on together. We know that you are facing a lot of challenges finding the right preservative system, what works in the right possible way. So what we prefer is, for example, one-on-one discussions, technical discussions, to see what is possible, what is requested from your perspective, what is a no-no, what is a yes-yes, for example. And on the other hand, also to support you on micro testing. So it's definitely something that we do and that we want to do. We work together with external partners. And in case you need support to find out what is a suitable, let me say, solution for your final formulation, please reach out to us, and we are more than happy to discuss this further in detail with you and your teams.
Hendrik made some great points here. It's a shift in how we look at preservation over time, from the days where you just kind of put something in at the end and don't think about it until you get to the end of the formula. These new modern preservation techniques really require a revamping of your toolbox. You're getting more tools in your toolbox to be able to get you to where you need to get, but they have to be a consideration up earlier in your formulation. The days of adding something in at the end that's going to take care of everything is non-existent anymore. You really have to be a little bit more strategic in developing your formulas, and these give you a really good tool to do that. Lowering your moisturizers in your formula can help you reduce the cost, some of the actives that drive that, the actives that you have to help you prolong shelf life, or rheology modifiers, emollients, surfactants, those types of things. Those can all be tightened down using multifunctional. So it's a really different approach to your formulas and product preservation, a modern approach. Sorry to chime in there.
No, perfect. No, in case some of you are also working on, let me say, home care formulations, there is also a trend to move away, for example, from the harsh preservatives like the isothiozolinons and BITs and the OITs. And nowadays, you also find more and more possibilities for the green diols, for example, or synthetic diols to be used in home care formulations. And that is definitely also an application area that could be of interest to consider, for example, talking about green diols or diols in general.
Good points. Second nice thing I said about you today, Hendrik. Don't fall out of your chair. Thank you.
Wow. With teammates like that, who needs enemies, right? That's perfect. No, so thanks, gentlemen. Great. So we wanted to share with you where we're at today. We do have time for a Q&A. One thing I will say is that for In-Cosmetics, we happy to meet personally anyone or on the call, or any of your customers that would be joining you or joining In-Cosmetics. So please make the introduction, and we will find a time to make that happen. We have submitted these ingredients for 2 awards. One is the In-Cosmetics Sustainability Award, and then the second, the Kenvue Green Award. So we're working, we'll see how that goes, and we're excited about the possibilities there. What I will say is we do have a couple questions. So Hendrik, where can the team get samples and pricing for the products?
So in case the customer is connected to our distribution partners, then our distribution partners have all the information already received from our perspective. So pricing is available, samples are available, and we can send out immediately. So please reach out to your commercial connection, or you can also send us an email directly, and we will pick it up from there.
Great. So let's see. I think we have just one other before Hector. When you get the lower carbon footprint, how is the life cycle analysis done for those products? Can you expand on that?
We're using a third-party organization that looks at the whole process of making the synthetic diols, and then does the same for looking at the whole process for making the green diols, and taking into consideration a number of variables. They compare those 2 processes and show the net difference in your carbon footprint. oversimplification of how they do it, but they're comparing those two processes and everything that undergoes with those two processes, including, things like transportation, where you're getting the raw materials from. Everything that has an impact on that carbon footprint is being evaluated and compared between the two processes.
Okay, thank you. So we got a question about the competitive environment for the natural origin materials, and are they unique in the marketplace? I would say on the, for example, on the caprol glycol, it is unique to have the pure 1,2 octane diol without any impurities is unique, and we are in a position to be competitive in that space as well. The end goal is to be competitive with the synthetic molecule, and really that's where we're driving towards. We have the scale to do that, and for example, on the ethyl hexylglycerin, we are making this at world-class scale, and we will be as competitive, the most competitive company out there today. So I think that will, for any of the distribution partners on the call, you have an advantage, and we need to act on that advantage. For brands, we're bringing you an advantage that you can differentiate yourself from your competition in a quick way. And that's by increasing the naturality of your formulations by maybe 0.5 to 2-3%. And that's a big deal when your label copy can show that big of an increase in a short way. So I hope that answers that question. Hendrik, you mentioned some applications, but I think there's, obviously there's a push to remove phenoxyethanol in a lot of formulations. Can you maybe expand a little bit about that and the combinations or that are applicable, or applications where that might be applicable with the natural ingredients we've proposed?
Yeah, so the discussion about phenoxyethanol is, of course, already something that is in the market for many years now. Everybody's looking for alternatives. It's not so easy because it's one of the most used ingredients worldwide. But it also depends a little bit on what is accepted by you as an end customer, because I'm aware that a lot of customers, they have a very long no list, and they have a very short yes list, what they can use. And based on the requirements, based on talking to the end customer, based on what they want to achieve, what they want to accept, it is possible to find perhaps the right system. A right system is something that you can create by combining different active ingredients. For example, caprylyl glycol with ethyl hexylglycerin. It's definitely something that we already have as a synthetic combination, but it can be used, for example, in a leaf-on application area. But on the other hand, I always recommend to do, of course, always a challenge test, because the challenge test is the only method that gives you an idea of, yes, it works or it doesn't work. And that is, of course, something that we also want to do to support our customers to do the real test, to prove, yes, it is effective or it isn't effective enough. We must include something more. But this is exactly the technical discussion that we are willing to do, and we are looking forward to do, to learn more about your needs, and of course also what we can suggest from our product portfolio point of view, because we have very interesting molecules, and I'm sure that we will find a way to propose the right product that protects your final product against spoilage.
Thanks, Hendrik. And Hector, when we're trying to move quickly with a formulation, how can we help customers and our partners move quickly with challenge testing?
Yeah, we have a partnership already with a third-party testing lab. It's in my opinion, in the industry, if you have somebody selling you something and telling you it works, that's a conflict there. We use a third-party lab. We're trying to position you with the best solutions. A third-party lab tells you whether it works or doesn't work. We have those relationships already established. We can guide you on the composition of what those things look like to try, and then also on the qualification of those compositions and whether they've worked or not. We have the ability to tighter some of those formulas down. So it's not only about finding something that works, but using the lowest concentration that's going to work. So it's more cost effective for you and creates a more robust system.
Excellent. And then maybe just one more for you on the, the drop-in aspect of, of caprolglycol versus the synthetic molecule. I mean, what other advantages do you see with that being able to be the exact same composition?
I mean, it's an easy way to get an increased in naturality index without really affecting your formula. It's the same exact molecule at the end when you're comparing the synthetic to the green. The starting material is different, but chemistry is chemistry, and that molecule is the molecule. You saw the footprint when we put it up there, the GCMS chromatogram, which clearly indicates that the material is pure. It's a straightforward drop-in replacement. It also gives you the levers to pull when in combination with some other diols. One thing that's important, as I mentioned earlier with modern preservation, is using combinations versus one material. And these types of technologies give you the ability to customize that a little bit more. So as your carbon chain length increases, your microefficacy is going to increase. As your carbon chain length decreases, your microefficacy decreases, but your water affinity increases. So always when you're formulating, a lot of times it's oil and water, you're looking for that balance. You have the tools now to do that, to control your efficacy and to control your polarity of your solutions. So a great tool to have in your toolbox.
So there's a quick question about do we have any prototype formulations? And the answer is yes. We have several, and we're working on formulation guides as well. So please send us a note, and we can come back with those examples. So we are doing more and more work in the formulation area. Obviously, if you have a specific request, please let us know, and we'll work on building that formulation type for you to show off or enhance the ingredient in any case. So thank you for the great question. Really appreciate the feedback and questions. We're excited to see you and hear from you. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us or your other contacts within Sequence. And we look forward to seeing you in the near future. Please, send us your sample requests, and we will get them out quickly to you. So I'll let you have an extra 15 minutes of your day, and we really appreciate you being there with us. In the chat, you'll see a very quick 2-minute survey. If you can click on that and give us a little bit of feedback, it really helps us get better for the next time. Okay. Thank you all, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Or morning. Yes, or morning. Bye-bye.
Take care.